Right? Yeah, let's start. So, where to start? What is virtualization? Mr. Rakesh.
Yes. Virtualization is nothing but it's abstraction of physical layer, like
Mhm.
on any single physical server or any which physical device, we can run multiple virtual machines or server or operating system without interference or uh, directly connection to the physical server.
Fine. Okay. Then I want to know what is physical server first. Any physical server models?
Mostly in enterprise environment, we use like any HP server, Dell server, and there are multiple other server. But yes, IBM, Cisco.
Right? So, then I need models.
HP DL380,
HP,
HP ProLiant,
DL 380, Gen 10,
and 8, 9, 10. There are multiple generation.
HP DL 360, Gen 10.
350 also.
Okay, yeah. So, Rajesh, which version, oh, sorry, which model you worked on it last week? Last week you installed some ESXi, right? Rajesh? You there?
No, no.
Mm. Last week, which one you tried?
I will try the 6.5. I think I installed ESXi just for only
Lab purpose.
lab purpose.
Fine. Okay. So
Uh,
before that, let's understand the rack structure.
but it's not installed. I already told you, no? It's not
Yeah.
installed. It's failed.
You'll not be able to install it. You'll get a
Ah,
driver issue.
Diverse.
Okay. Yeah. That's me. Okay. Let's understand the rack structure. Yeah. What is the dimensions? We'll call it as 42U.
Correct.
Okay. Then what is U?
U is nothing but it's in rack there is a space where we can tied up the nut to the rack server.
Right? 1U is 1.75 inches. So if you look at the rack, you'll have numbers. Okay. So let's say, for example, this space you call it as 1U. 1U model.
Okay.
Example. Okay. And let's say, for example, 526. If you say 2U model, is this. What is the difference? Right? If it is occupying 2U space and you call it as 2U model, 2U form factor technically, and what is the difference between these two?
Maybe capacity or performance wise, like more CPU, more RAM,
More space means more CPU,
more resources.
more components, more capacity, more resources. Okay. So where to go? Fine. Any other models you're familiar with?
Cisco UCS.
Cisco.
Yeah. There is some model B and C model.
Okay.
For the model
Cisco
name, but
C220 M4. Let's say Cisco C220 M4. Legacy model.
mm,
Latest is M5, I believe. But let's see M5. See, end of life model. The product is no longer being sold. It's fine. So this is 1U. 1U, right? By seeing 1U or 2U?
Just one U. It seems
One.
one.
Yes, 1U only. Form factor portfolio in one RU form factor, right? DDR4, 12 Gbps SAS throughput total. Fine. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 8 total 8 hard disk you can insert.
2 to 4. Yes, correct.
Okay. And if you look at the symbols, what is the meaning of these 5? Internal error, fan error, temperature,
Yes.
network,
Network.
power supply, and network. Okay. One of the component will turn it to amber when there is a issue.
Problem.
Go back. Yeah. Dual power supply. Why you need a dual power supply?
For redundancy. If any
Redundancy.
power supply goes down, then other one can take up.
Yes. And you'll see 4 network cables. Why you need a 4? 4.
For
Okay.
teaming purposes, if you want teaming and if you want segregate the network.
Teaming. Let's say, for example, I have these two. Okay. So these two I can connect to one switch. Actually, I'll connect it to 2 different switches for redundancy. And if you are installing Windows on top of this server, you can log in into Windows and you can create teaming of these two and assign IP, right?
Oh.
Then what is the purpose of this and what is the purpose of this? What's the purpose of these two?
These two also you can, if you want to connect some segregate network, like if you want to some
No,
internal network, you then.
no. This is your CIMC, just like your ILO.
Oh, that is a yeah. One port is for remote support.
If you look at this, you'll see.
CIMC.
If you look at management,
Okay, yeah.
okay, and this is 10101 serial cable. You will connect one cable and you will leave as it is. That's it. If engineer came in for troubleshooting, he will connect his laptop
Directly, yeah.
and do the troubleshooting directly. Or you can connect this with crash cart. Okay. So this is your ILO. If it is HP, this is ILO. If it is Cisco, you call it as CAMC. If it is Dell, ID rack. The symbol here is M, management. These two are for production. Clear? Then what is PCI 1, PCI 2?
If you want to install some any other device, peripheral device.
If you want to install more components, let's say for example, I want to install 2 more network cards like this. So you can remove this plate and you can buy new network card and you can install it. Okay. Or else if you have a HBA card for SAN storage purpose, you can buy and you can insert 2 HBA cards here. Right? Based on the requirement, you can add additional hardware at PCI slot. This is excuse me, I'll say 1U model. Okay. But when it comes to 2U, let's see how 2U looks like. 2U, let me search 240. Same thing. If you look at same 8 hard disk, and the coolant fans, right? Coolant fans are there on the front. We go to back. Same configuration, no change. Two power supplies and two production NICs, one management, one serial, one management and one serial. But you will see peripheral devices are in one U you got only two empty plates, but in 2U you can have 6 components. You can have extra NICs, you can have HBA cards, or if you want to install graphics, you can put the graphic card you need to install inside. External graphic cards won't support it, right? Anything else you want to discuss in physical servers, Mr. Rakesh?
It's
Enough?
all about, yeah.
Okay. So take any one server. Take any one server. You have a physical server. Now, if I will install Windows, server will act as a Windows server. If I will install Linux, this will act as a Linux server. Now, I don't want to install any Windows or Linux. Then what should I do? I need to install 6.7 is latest running in the market, but I'll say 6.0 is installed on my system, so I'll stick it to 6.0. It is installed. Now, what is this? ESXI. What is ESXI?
ESXi is nothing but it's a thin layer which create uh, what abstraction layer, which is what to do.
Okay, so let me explain a different way. Let's say, for example, you have a small laptop, okay, and or a small server you can take. You installed Linux. What is the first component when you install a Linux? What what is the first component that gets installed? Hmm?
Hmm?
For example, this is small physical server,
Hmm.
and I've installed Linux on top of it. What is the first component that gets installed?
It's kernel mostly.
What is kernel? Hmm?
Kernel is it's a main component of any OS operating system.
Okay, right? Linux distribution. Fine. Okay. Now, as a user, you can log in into Linux
Hmm.
and you can run commands. Let's say, for example, 3 users logged in. Three users logged into Linux server. How to log in? Putty,
Hmm.
right? Using Putty, you logged in. Okay. Once you log in, you are running some commands.
Hmm.
I am running some commands, and Rajesh running some commands.
Hmm.
All the three instructions are given to kernel, and kernel is working with hardware, interpreting with hardware, and
Hmm.
giving the respective output. And it
Hmm.
is doing it parallelly. How it is doing? Right? Whenever you log in,
Hmm.
you will get allocated with one shell.
Hmm.
Shell is executable area where you will run your instructions, right?
Hmm.
So let's say, for example, what it is doing, you have a RAM, and it is one partition for running the OS, and rest of the user partitions. At the moment,
Yeah.
there are three sessions are running: session 1, session 2, session 3. This is for OS. Imagine. So if I run the instruction, my instructions will run on this part. If Rakesh will run the instructions, his instructions will run on his part. If Rajesh is running, his instructions will run his part. What is the total RAM size? 8 GB. Example. How much operating system is taking? 2 GB. How much you left with? 6 GB. And how it is managing other 6 GB? It is managing randomly based on the instruction size and the demand. Just in case, if I want to explain it layman. Agree? And parallelly it is running the instructions and giving the output on respective screens. Three different shells. Okay. Now take same concept and bring that concept into VMware or any other virtualization platform. Your hardware will remain hardware. There is no change, and your hypervisor is, sorry, you're calling as a kernel, right? So whatever the kernel that you're calling as, you call this as a hypervisor. You call this as a hardware, same hardware, right? And I said three different users. Instead of users, I'm saying three different virtual machines. Okay. Now Windows, Linux, Windows 2019, and Windows 2016. Let's say, for example. So I'm running three different servers. Now let's take the same example. How it is working? Base OS. If it is a 8 GB RAM, let's say, for example.
Hmm.
Base OS. What is the base OS here? ESXi is a base OS. In this case, Linux is the base OS. And it has the three different pools, active pools as of now, to run instructions: Windows 2016, Windows 2019, and Linux. So if Windows Server is sending some instructions, hypervisor will pick the instruction and execute in that particular RAM space and give the output to Windows Server. And if a Linux server is running some instructions, hypervisor will pick the request, execute with the hardware. Hardware is your RAM and CPU.
Hmm.
Okay, and hand over to the Linux server, and so on. Do you see any difference between these two, the Linux functionality and the hypervisor functionality? Here it is simply running the instructions. Here it is simply running the virtual machine. Virtual machine is also an instruction software, right?
Hmm. It's on.
VM itself is a software.
Yes.
Okay. In other words, okay, your hardware is a base. Your hypervisor is parents, and your virtual machine are the childs. If you want to understand in layman, right? This is what type of hypervisor it is? Hmm?
Type 1.
Bare metal.
Bare metal.
hypervisor type 1. Then what is type 2?
Hosted.
So there is another type of hypervisor no one will use in production. You will have a hardware. On top of it, you'll install OS. On top of it, you'll install hypervisor. On top of it, you'll run virtual machines. Okay. So hardware, Windows 10, VMware,
Workstation.
workstation, Windows Server, Linux Server, whatever. Right? This is type 2 hypervisor where you will use in environments. This we will use it in data centers. Clear? Any confusion up to this?
No.
Rajesh,
No.
able to understand?
Yeah, understand.
Okay. Now imagine I have one ESXi. Imagine I have one ESXi. I have one ESXi server. IP is okay, and I do have one Cisco switch. And my laptop. Okay, and I do have one Wi-Fi router. How the connectivity is? I've connected one cable from here to here, and one cable from here to here, and another cable from here to internet, right? And I can connect one cable from my switch to here, right? Disconnected now. I've connected one cable and also Wi-Fi, both. This is the setup. Let me power on my lab. Okay, so switch is 192, 168, 100. This is my switch. We'll see more in detail when we are discussing in network class. And IP config 142 and 141. My mistake is here I mentioned as 149. It is 141. Fine. Okay, and I have already installed ESXi on top of it. Can I create a VMs on top of this ESXi? So the lab setup will be something like this. I need to create multiple VMs here. 1, 2, 3, ESXi 1, ESXi 2. Because I don't have multiple servers to run the lab, so what I will do, I will utilize one ESXi server and I'll create multiple ESXi servers. Okay, and what it is, vCenter. So these are the four systems I need to build at first stage to set up the lab. Okay, so let's see if the system is up and running or not. How to log in? Okay, logged in. If you look at the system configuration, this is my ESXi server, and go to summary, you'll see this is normal desktop only. I have one SATA disk and one SSD. I have another SSD which is crashed. So SSD is of 111 GB and only 40 GB left with at the moment, and 32 GB RAM, one CPU quad core, and I already have two different labs running. So what I will do, I'll dismantle this first lab. Okay, I'll dismantle the first lab and I'll keep the NetApp lab because I'm running another class. I need that lab. Let's see what is the free space now. 105 GB recovered. Only 12 GB taken by other two machines which are running now. Browse data store and see if you have anything else. Nothing, right? Only two VMs are running. Okay. So what is the first step?
Create the virtual machines.
Okay. So create the virtual machine. So you need to create one virtual machine. Okay. Before that, what is VM? What is VM?
Virtual machine is a kind of a software, software computer which runs operating system, utilize the RAM, CPUs, and act like a real.
Okay. Virtual machine is just a collection of files which will enables you to run as individual server. It will run as a individual server, right? So let me create a VM and see what all the files. So I'll say simply
It's a collection of files.
what files we'll see now. Okay, let me create a VM in virtual machine, custom lab ESXi host 1. I'll select SSD 2. Hardware version will explain when we do the upgrade activity. So compatibility metrics. For now, just leave with default
Right.
11, and I want to install ESXi, not Windows or Linux. So select others and ESXi 6.6. This version I want to install it. Okay, and how many CPUs? I'll say 2, sockets 2, and what's the RAM size? I'll say 6 GB RAM. I want to allocate to that particular virtual machine. Next, and I want to have two NIC cards and they will be on VLAN 40. Okay, both the NIC cards in VLAN 40. Next, you'll get a SCSI controller, software SCSI controller, default. Next, you want to assign a virtual hard disk. to the newly created virtual machine or not? We'll assign one hard disk, right? So create a new hard disk, say 15 GB, thin provisioning is enough. Next, SCSI ID, you got
0.
00. Okay, hardware numbering for your hard disk. Next, edit virtual machine settings, continue. I don't require floppy anymore, and I have a CD. Go to data store. Inside the data store and SATA, you'll have ISO folder. There you'll see all the ISOs required for this lab. What I need now, VMware Visor installer 6.0, sorry 6.5. I want to install this one. 6.5 I want to install. Okay, and I'll say connected power on, and I'll say boot options, same 10,000 milliseconds. Delay, that's it. I'll say finish. So VM has been created. VM has been created.
Oh,
Now I said virtual machine is a collection of files. Virtual machine is created. Where those files are located?
on
Select the
storage.
VM. Select the VM. Go to summary. Go to summary, and you'll see two different hard disks. You select the SSD one. Browse data store, and there will be one folder with your name. Right? There is one folder with whatever the VM is there with that name. Once a VM got created, you will see the folder is created, and also it has three different files. What are those files?
.bmx, dk,
.vmx
.bmdk, configuration file.
and what else? Second,
.bmdk,
.vmdk
virtual disk,
virtual hard disk, and
.vmsd.
.vmsd.
It's for snapshot, right? Virtual snapshot.
Descriptor. It's not a snapshot. SD is a descriptor.
It's descriptor. Yeah.
Okay, remember when you create a VM, okay, you will get only these three files at first stage. Collection of files. When you create, these are the files. Only these are the files. Okay. When you power on the same, you will see lot of these files were changed. Just select power on. Now refresh. You'll see a lot of files are there. One is when you power on, these three files will be there definitely. In addition to that, dot nvram
Virtual memory.
ram configuration date file or virtual memory What else? Dot swap.
Yes. Dot VSW.
uh, vswap. Right?
Hmm. Dot log.
Dot log file. Logs. Sorry.
Hmm.
Whenever you power on the VM, new log file will be created. Okay, that new log file will be in use until you reboot the server again.
Okay.
Okay, how many times? It has the 7 files.
6 or 7. Yeah.
7 files. Once the 7 files were done, after the 8th file, the first file will be deleted.
Deleted.
Okay, the retention is 7 log files. Okay, what else? You missed? Yes, VM auxiliary LCK,
Log file.
VMX LCK, and VMX auxiliary. What LCK will do? Right? VMX file. So what changes it will track? Let's say for example, you powered on the VM, but you want to change the VLAN. You don't need to power off the VM. You can simply change the VLAN.
Hmm.
Those settings will be saved in this auxiliary file. Okay. Till what time? Till you reboot the server. Till you reboot the server. Till the time, what it will do? It will hold the data in this file,
Okay.
and this file will check the integrity of this and integrity of this. It will compare these two files and it will maintain the integrity via this file, because this is main file. But when you power on the VM, this will become read only. You cannot write the data onto that file. That will become read only. So once you shut down, then the configurations will be saved. Clear? Hmm? Fine. So VM is powered on. Just launch the console and see what's going on. So ESXi 6.5 is loaded. Remember, you are installing this ESXi in your hardware Dell server only.
Hmm.
Last time when you install, I'm explaining it to Rajesh.
Hmm.
Imagine
On.
you are installing this ESXi on
Uh,
physical server only. You connected the
okay.
monitor. You connected the monitor, and you simply
Uh,
powered on. Now you got the screen,
okay.
right?
Okay.
There is no change. So
No change.
from here
Here.
onwards, we'll see what all the options that we need to perform.
Okay.
Okay, this is how you install and configure the ESXi server in your physical or in lab environment. There is no change in it.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
just enter and press F11 to accept the license and discover the hardware. Now what it will do, it will go and discover the hardware on your server, and if it found something, it will give you. Okay, and it discovered 15 GB hard disk because I gave 15 GB to that VM. Select and US keyboard, yes, give some password. Okay, now it is again scanning for additional hardware. See, after scanning, it is giving an error, an warning saying, boss, this is not the real-time hardware. You are installing ESXi on top of a VM, not on top of physical hardware. I know it. It's fine. Please ignore my warnings. Okay? But in your case, in this screen, you will get no network adapters found.
Error virtualization or
Yeah, you can read.
virtualization not a feature of CPU is not enabled in BIOS. Okay.
Right? But Rajesh, in your case, on this screen, you will get an error saying
Error.
no network drivers found.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so you will not be able to proceed further. The reason is ESXi server is unable to discover the drivers which you
Okay.
have installed on that particular server. So recommendation is you need to upgrade the firmware of Dell hardware and try
Okay.
installing ESXi once again. Then it will work.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
enter. Now simply F11 to install. That's it. Only 3 steps. We have to wait for 5 minutes. You'll see the ESXi gets installed and we can access it. Okay, give me like 1 or 2 minutes. Once installation is done, and we'll reboot and we'll configure.
We cannot install any in VMware in any desktop server. Only rack server we have to install.
I have
Right?
installed the ESXi on a desktop, but
Uh,
there is a driver issue. I have
okay.
to manually download the drivers and
Realtek drivers.
yes,
Okay. Okay.
desktop drivers. Desktop
Okay.
drivers. Okay, and I have to
Uh,
install. I have to install it on ESXi image at first
uh,
stage. Then I have
okay.
to
Okay.
install the ESXi.
Okay.
But in your case, if you have the Dell server, Dell real-time hardware server, then
Uh,
you go ahead with the firmware upgrade. Once the
okay.
firmware is upgraded, then you can download 6.5 and try to install it. It will work.
Okay.
Okay. So let's wait.
Okay.
It is stuck at 27. Why it is stuck at 27? I'm not sure. Okay. Let's see. It will progress quickly after some time. See, it's progressing. Okay, let it finish. Wait for some time. Yeah, done. So simply click on it and reboot. That's it. Done. Now you can disconnect the CD. Go to edit settings. CD client device. Okay. Now once the server is rebooted, it will be booting from local hard disk. Right? So now it is loading the ESXi from local hard disk itself. What is the hard disk size? 15 GB. Okay. Let's see what options we have. Now you'll see VMware ESXi 6.5, and you'll see only 2 CPU, i5 processor, and 6 GB RAM, which I have allocated. Okay. In your real time, if your ESXi server is of 128 GB RAM, you will see 128 GB memory and 24 CPU. You will see 24 CPU. That's it. Okay. So yeah, system is ready. Now if you look at, you'll have only 2 keys. You have only 2 keys. Rest of the keyboard will not work. Okay. Press F2 to customize and give the password. Configure management network. Adapters, you'll see both the adapters are there. I have 2 adapters, fine. And VLAN ID, optional, you don't need to set any VLAN ID. Go to IPv4 and set static IP. Press spacebar to select the option 192.168.40.41. 255.255.255.0. 192.168.40.1 is the gateway. Enter IPv6. IPv6. Disable IPv6. We don't require any IPv6. DNS configurations. If you have a DNS server, you can give a DNS server in your real time. And lab ESXi host 1 dot, just an example I'm just giving. There is no such server or host name. I want to reboot. Yes. If you look at, yes, configuration is also done. There is nothing else. There's nothing else we can do on this. So close. And what is the IP? What is the IP? 192.168.40.41. Advanced. Just give me one moment. Pause. So proceed. Okay. What is the username? Root and the password. You'll see it is acting as an individual ESXi server. It has some CPU, it has some memory, and also storage, all the things. And you can deploy virtual machine on top of it, and you can also run the VMs on top of it. VM1, Downloads software Tiny Linux. Next, I'm just trying to install thin provisioning. Okay, finish. Okay, so machine has been created. If you look at VM has been created, and if you power on, you're getting an error. See, you're getting an error. It's fine. That is due to nested virtualization. You need to do some tweaking to power on the VMs, because where this VM is sitting now, logically, it is, let's say for example, I have one ESXi server. Okay, on top of it, I have created one VM. On top of it, I have created one more VM. This is main ESXi server. This is nested ESXi server. This is the VM which I have created, VM1. That is the reason why it is not powering on. So what we can do is, we can do some tweaking and get the things done. That we'll see later. But understand what we did so far? Any questions? Mr. Rakesh?
No,
Any
I think it's very simple.
No, sir.
Rajesh?
No, no, sir.
Okay. So the thing is, the ESXi installation configuration, what we did, what is VM, we have seen, and what else we did? This is the first thing we did, and also we have seen how to install and configure ESXi host. This is also we did, right? We have installed and configured with IP 192.168.40.41. This is the IP. So these two tasks we performed so far. What else we need? I said there is a issue with the installed ESXi host because it is not the nested one. So what I need to do is, I need to download one ESXi server from this is the website. If you guys want to do some practice, you can go and get the required images, customized images for lab purpose. Okay, so nested virtualization. Let's see what they are saying. Yes, access servers on. That's okay. We'll see that later on. 6.5. Let's see. Okay, let's appliance. I'm not sure whether it is going to deployed or not. I'm just trying to download it. It'll take some time. Also, I have 6.5, which I have already downloaded. So what I will do, I will simply install the already downloaded images. But if you want, softwares, okay. So VMware nested ESX 6.1 is also there. I don't want this. Cancel. It is also there. 6.5, 6.0 and 6.7. Three files are there. What I will do, I will install 6.5 update 1. Now before I proceed for the installation, there is a small concept called open virtualization appliance and open virtualization format. What it is?
It's a pre-configured virtual machine.
It's a pre-configured virtual machine. Let's say, for example, I have created one virtual machine now. What is the virtual machine name? Lab ESXi 01. I can simply power off this, okay, or shut down it properly, and I have this VM. This VM has a ESXi installed and configured. Okay, so if I want to copy this configuration, what is the VM set of files? Okay, so if I convert this VM into OVA template, or you can create a VM, you can create a OVF template out of any VM. What it will do, it will copy the image of particular virtual machine into external file. External file will be placed on your desktop or somewhere you mention your network path or anywhere you mention. Okay, so let's say, for example, this is my VM. If I go to file, export, OVF template, so this particular VM will be exported into this name. And where do you want to keep it? On desktop, OVF, single file OVA. Okay, so if I say okay, what it will do, it is exporting the whole image of, whole configuration of this VM into a file in my desktop. Okay, so I'm not going to export it completely. OVA, it got exported already. 333 MB.
What you did? What you did? Just
I've
export in OVF format, right?
Yes, OVA file.
You converted in directly OVA, or you made the changes as a .ova or
Nothing,
something?
nothing. I just clicked on it, export, export to OVA single file.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
just click,
got, now
then
got it.
you got the image, right? This is a single file image. Similarly, I have downloaded so many images from internet where they have tested and configured and fine tuned as per our lab requirement. So what I will do, I will use these images to build my lab. So what is the step? So third one, what is OVA or OVF? What it is? What is OVA or OVF?
Appliance and format. OVA is a single file and OVA from two or three files, I think.
OVA as a single file contains configure contains pre-configured VM exported into .ova format for reuse. If you want to reuse OVF OVF format, right? Understand?
Hmm.
So imagine I have multiple OVA files. I don't want this file, delete it. Also, I don't want this image, delete it. Now I want to build the lab using that OVF file. How to build? Deploy OVF template. Select, and you will see nested ESXi 6.5 update 1. I want to install 6.5 update 1. Fine. Select yes. Integrity warning. Okay. Licensing. Okay. And what is the name? Lab ESXi 01 dot IBM or let's say for example, okay, and I'll put it on SSD 2 and I'll say thin provisioning, and on which VLAN I want to place it. I want to place it on VLAN 40. That's it. So what I'm doing, this is what we are doing now. Okay, done. Deployed. Deploy OVF template is completed. Server is ready. Just open console and power on. Okay, Alt Control Enter to go into full screen. See, it is loading. Now you will see the information 6.5 to CPU 6 GB again. Okay. Now system is up and running. Again, press F2 and the password is a little tricky. VMware one exclamatory is the password. Let's try. Okay, let me write down the password here in case if you guys want to. Password is VMware one exclamatory. That is the password. Okay. Now Alt Control Enter. Go to Configure Management Network. Go to IP configuration. Set static IP 192.168.40.41. Again 255 255.0 and gateway is 192.168.40.1 is the gateway. That's it. Enter. Service restart. DNS. 8.8.4.4 and in your real time you'll normally have different DNS servers. Lab ESXi 01 dot management restart, escape, then yes, close. Now you try it. You try the same once again on 192.168 40.41.
So Srinivas,
Yeah,
have you made right now you are connected your laptop with the physical network and also the
yes,
wireless. So both it's communicating at a time same time.
yeah, both are in the same VLAN. I can
Hello. You are already connected this wireless for internet. Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, I got it. It's connected both.
Yes,
How come?
you can connect
It
two
confused.
IPs, wireless and wired.
What is the use to connect? Because you are already connecting this wireless directly.
Wireless, you are getting 150 Mbps speed. Wired, you will get 1 GB speed.
Uh-huh.
I want to deploy some images from my laptop. If I deploy it over the Wi-Fi, so this 2 hour class will become 4 hours. That is the reason I connected the cable. Okay. So let me create a VM. Once again, there is no storage in it because it is pre-configured image. It doesn't have any storage. Create a new data VMFS data store. I'll select 8 GB local one. I'll say local one. Finish. Right. Now create a
So
VM
this storage is taken from where?
from local hard disk.
Local hard disk which you have given a 15 GB to ESXi, right?
This is pre-configured image.
Okay. Yes.
Deploy overview of template. VM1. Select. Now again select Tiny Linux. Tiny Linux. Next. Thin provisioning. Fine. Now it's deploying. VM has been deployed. And if you look at, see, VM is successfully powered on. See, done. It's working now. Right? Control panel, network, 192, 168 will come out, and from my command line, I'll ping 192.168.40.41. It is working, but 40.42 it is not working. So see, 40.42 it is not working at the moment. Right? Destination not reachable. -T, a continuous ping will be there. Let's see. I'll assign the IP 40.42. 40.1 broadcast 255. 40.1 is gateway. 8.8.8.8 and 8.8.8. Sorry, 8.8.4.4. Apply and then terminal ping google.com. You'll see it is pinging from inside. And once IP is assigned, you come out and see the ping is working from last few iterations. Okay. Now how the scenario is, you have your base server. Okay, on top of it you have created one VM. On top of it you have created one more VM. Okay, three VMs are running. Sorry, three layers at the moment. What is the first layer IP? 192.168.1.151. Second layer 192.168.40.42. Sorry, 41. And what is the second layer? 192.168.40.42. Okay, connected to switch, from switch to my laptop. If you want, you can ping each and every IP. Clear? Ping 192.168.1.151. It's working. 40.42, it's working. 40.41, it's working. All the three IPs are working. Any confusion up to this?
So what changes or what configuration you made on the switch?
ESXI? Nothing I have made.
No, no, on switch,
ESXI?
physical switch. On physical switch, I'm
No,
telling.
no changes.
Because why I'm asking, because you have a different wheel and how it is communicate. My question is that.
Okay, that the VLANs are created on physical switch, and
Mhm.
my ESXi has those port groups already attached. That we'll see in network
That
class.
means on switch port, it's a trunk mode, right?
Yeah, that is already configured. That we will discuss in network
Later.
class.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes, I was.
first let's understand
Mm.
basic components. Let's understand how they are working. Let's understand how to install and configure, and let's understand basic terminologies in today's class. And also we need to build a vCenter, we need to build the Windows server first before installing the vCenter and all. So we still need to cover a lot of other stuff. If you are fine up to this, if you are fine, then we'll continue. Okay, if you have any questions, we can discuss up to this what we have covered.
Mhm.
Clear?
Yes, clear.
Confusion?
Yeah.
Okay, so go back and check the my previous lab setup which I have explained. What I'm saying, I need three
Yes.
ESXi servers. As of now, I have only one, right?
Mm.
Only one. What is the IP?
41.
192.168.40.41.
40.
So I need to deploy two more. Before that, what I will do, I'll go back and I'll close this window. I'll shut down this VM. I don't require this VM anymore. Just for demonstration, I delete. Gone. Okay. So because why I have deleted, because for this ESXi host 192.168.40.42, that is the IP I want to give. But as of now, I am running one VM on top of it. This IP I have already allocated to this, so I don't want to do that. So that is the reason I have removed this, and you got your IP back. Go to ESXi server. This is one lab. Deploy OVF template. Same template I need to deploy. Next, accept the licenses. Lab ESXi 02 dot, right? Lab 1 SSD2 thin provisioning. Again I'll put it on VLAN 40. Done.
It's deployed.
Deployed. Okay, power on. Let's see. Okay, it is up. So F2. Okay, go to management network, IP configuration, set the IP 192.168.40.42. 168.40.40.1. Right? Okay, let's do that. Is configured. IP has been assigned. So go back and test 192.168.40.42. It's working. Right? Second server is up and running. Let me do the third one. Lab 1 SSD. No. Okay, LAN 40 deployed. Okay, done. And power on the third one as well. Okay, let's power it on. Okay, loaded. F2. 43. 40.1 is the IP. Okay, DNS configuration. Right. Done. Close. 3 ESXi servers are done. Let me check the third one as well. 40.43. Right. 3 servers are up and running. So what we did so far? Dot 41. Oh, yeah. What I'm doing. Okay. Lab ESXi 01 dot. It's the lab. Right. This is what we did so far. Now what is next? How many such ESXi servers you will have in your real time? Let's say, for example, hmm? Many, or at least in hundreds. ESXi servers I'm talking about, ESXi host. Okay, so for example, you have an enterprise where they are running with more than 100 plus hosts. As part of the day-to-day activities, are you going to log in into each and every ESXi server and check what is happening, everything is okay, any errors, any warnings, any alerts, this kind of stuff you will do on a daily basis, or how you will manage? Hmm? Rakesh?
Hello?
Yeah. How you will manage?
Yes, we need a central management point. For that,
Okay.
we need to install vCenter.
Okay. What is vCenter and why we need a vCenter? Okay. So next, what is vCenter servers and why we need vCenter? Hmm?
vCenter server is a central management system which manage all the virtual things, virtual environment, you can say.
Right? Along with
Additional features.
J, DRS, FT.
Distributed switch.
Right? vCenter will support some of these additional features.
One question. For vMotion, we need no need. vMotion is depend on vCenter or not?
Yes, vMotion, automatic vMotion is in DRS. vMotion
Okay.
is manual. So everything is covered in DRS. Okay. So if you want to run the DRS, you should run
Okay.
the vMotion,
Part of vMotion.
part of the vMotion, DRS, right? So, and why we need a vCenter? If you want, if you want all these features in your environment, you need a vCenter. Okay, along with just
Additional features.
along with centralized console, single console called vCenter web application. If you want to access all your ESXi hosts in one location, that is not only the task, you can, it will also support these features. That is the reason why you need a vCenter. Okay, so but in vCenter there are two types of offerings. One is
Plans.
vCenter standalone server Windows OS. vCenter appliance vCenter. So currently most of the people are using appliances mostly from 6.5 and 6.7 people are using, and till 6.5 this standalone server is being used.
Oh,
So now what we will do, we will we will try to install the standalone server because it doesn't require any Active Directory, it doesn't require any additional configurations. But if you want to install the appliance, you need to have a time server, time sync, and Active Directory, DNS. Everything should be in place in lab environment. So I don't have a second SSD to run those many servers. So what I will do is I'll run the standalone Windows server and I'll configure vCenter on top of it, and then I'll run the lab. Okay, so in short, I will go with first option. So for the first option, what needs to be done? Install and configure Windows 2016 server on ESXi host. How to do that? We'll see. What is the configuration? C drive, sorry, C drive 40 GB, RAM 9 GB, CPU 4, NIC cards 2. This is the configuration. Server name, right? This is the configuration. I want to build a vCenter server with this configuration. How to do that? I'll show you. So new virtual machine, custom,
Next.
enter 01 dot SSD, default running with 11 2016. I don't have a 2016 mentioned, so I'll take threshold. CPU 9 GB RAM, 2 NIC cards. I'll put it on both. I'll put it on VLAN. excuse me, 40 SCSI controller, virtual hard disk, thin provisioning, 40 GB,
Back.
SCSI, yeah,
Thin. Okay, it was selected. Thought it's not selected.
yeah, SCSI, ID, edit, remove the floppy drive, and go to give me some time. Resume. So go to CD, data store ISO, SATA, ISO files. I have server 2016 OS file 7 GB. Okay, connect it, power on, options, boot options. Again, I'll say 10,000 milliseconds. Finish. So VM has been created. Open, power on. So it will load the Windows now. So what we will do is once the Windows server is installed and configured, and then we'll close this. So tomorrow we'll install vCenter server and configure vCenter server, and then continue with the rest of the things. Install. Data center, pre-activated KMS, accept the license, custom 40 GB, install it. Okay, it's copying. Well, it will take some time. Meanwhile, let's minimize this and see what all the options we have in the ESXi server. Okay, so summary. It will give you all the details about the summary. You have ESXi licenses, and then for CPU and number of templates or VMs at the moment 6. NIC cards, only one network interface is connected, and that's it. And number of VMs you can manage, resource allocation. Actually, I can set the limit for these two labs, so they cannot go beyond the allocated limit. You can watch the performance over here, how the ESXi is performing, and performance is based on CPU performance. You can check data store performance, how it is working, memory, how it is behaving, power supply, storage adapter, power supply, system performance, everything. Configuration, you have health check status, all the components whether they are working or normal or not, and processors, CPU information, memory, storage, networking, only one NIC card, storage adapters, you have multiple storage adapters, network adapters only one, advanced settings, IO configuration, or if you want to define some specific path to go and get the booting devices and all, and power management. If you have two power supplies, then you can do some management. There is nothing as such. licenses, and time configuration. You can do it. A lot of other options. Okay, user management. Anything anyone is doing anything on the server, you can watch it here. And permissions. Who is if I want to give a permission to someone else, I can add the users here so that they will get the required permissions. Okay, this is basically a simple overview on legacy version 6.0. 6.5 has a different options. You can check it here. Okay, ESXI is a simple summary page. Simple summary page. You have everything just like your summary page, right? Same summary page, but in web UI. And there's nothing. Actions. Shutdown, reboot ESXi host. Services, SSH disable, enable, and secure shell. Lockdown mode, I'll tell you later. Permissions. That's it. Virtual machines. How you manage. Storage. Storage data stores. And then adapters. And then devices. What all the devices you have. And networking. Port groups. One switch. Physical NICs. Kernel NIC. And then couple of TCP/IP settings and firewall rules. How many ports are up and running? Based on that, you can allow the rules. Monitor all the monitoring stuff. Manage. If you click on manage, auto restart swap file settings. Where do you want to keep the swap file? Date and time, hardware, the same thing. Licensing, packages, what all the packages that are installed as part of the ESXi server installation and configuration, and then services, and then user permissions and security. Same options but different user interface. Okay, so let's see. It is still getting files ready. Fine. So what we will do is, once the server is installed, rebooted, I will simply power off. I will not assign any IP and all. I'll simply power off. Tomorrow we'll assign the IP and we'll continue because it is taking a lot of time. So let me do one thing. If I want to minimize the timing and all, let me shut down these ESXi host so that system will free up some of the space. All the three ESXi servers are shut down. Only vCenter is up and running because you'll see it is really progressing slow. That's fine. What I'll do is I'll keep this recording as it is. So once it reaches the 100%, I'll resume the recording. Once it is rebooted, and I'll stop the recording, and then we'll continue the configuration part. Once this is installed, it will just reboot it. Okay. Then I'll stop the recording and I'll close it. Any questions up to this?
Nope.
Rajesh?
No, sir. No.
Fine. Okay, let me pause the recording. Yeah. OS has been installed. Let me see if it gets rebooted quickly. Then we'll stop here. And then I will continue with the vCenter installation configuration. And we'll discuss about the vCenter features and vCenter services and integrated database services and all in tomorrow's session. Still rebooting. Finishing up. Okay, reboot. That's it. So I'll stop here. What I will do is I'll continue with the rest of the session tomorrow. Okay, thank you.